Right, so here's the first of the hatchlings of crested geckos that I've ever hatched. She is one of two, or he is one of two. I call her a she. She's definitely the most curious. It's funny how they do have different personalities so young. She's just eaten her third waxworm. She does eat outside her little enclosure that she shares with her hatchmate, who is much more shy, and she is down there somewhere. There she is, which is a shame because she's a much nicer looking gecko, even though I do prefer this one because she's my friend. And I'm hoping to weigh her. Haven't actually weighed her since she hatched, which I believe is a little over, oh gosh, month and a half. Let's have a look. I do keep track of it all. So yeah, she's definitely the most curious. She's always happy to come out when I open the tank. So just put a waxworm in there with some calci powder, and let's see if she fancies another one. She can be quite a piggy. I do feed them Pangea, not Rapashi. Pangea, I find they do prefer that, predominantly the watermelon flavour, but they do eat all of it, to be fair. There's just some that they will eat slightly less of, I find. I find the best way to tame them like this, where they don't mind coming out, is to always feed them when you get them out. So early on I would open the tank every day, obviously, to mist it, but I would hand feed them a little bit before I left some more in their enclosure. And they're always very receptive, so they do, you know, they do realise now that whenever the lid's open, that there's going to be goodies to follow. So yeah, I don't think she's going to go for that one. Now we will see if we can get the other one out. She has been out already, but I did pop her back because I did have to leave the room. And I can trust this one here, but not this one. So like I say, now this one, the clutch mate, I think is a much nicer colour. Oh, here she comes. But she is much shyer, so, you know, I don't push it with her. If she wants to come out on this little tree, then, you know, she can, bless her heart. So I suppose I think of this one as a male, and this one, oh, that's a bit better, isn't it? This one is a female. And for me, this one's got beautiful colourings, much more orange, darker, whereas obviously this one's very, very pale, very, very pale sand, I would say. I'm going to turn that down a little bit more. Yeah, very sandy colour. Yeah, that's much better actually. So yeah, they are the first two clutch mates, and they were born oh gosh, 25th of the 9th. Let's have a look. Dooby-dooby-doo. Is that those ones? And they hatched. Yeah, so they hatched on the 6th of August 2017, and today is the 19th of October. So 6th of August, August. Yeah, so they're a month and almost a month and a half old. And let's see if we can weigh one up. I don't think you're going to eat that worm, are you? No, I think they're done with the worms. And what I have found is the more you interact with them, they definitely, I find it even easier to eat bugs, to be honest with you. The other ones, I didn't seem to fuss as much because I wasn't as cautious about them eating and mollycoddling them. So, and I have found that I do struggle to get them to eat bugs, whereas this one in particular, but even the much darker one, I mean, they'd eat bugs all day long, I think, if I left them. They do like waxworms, they do eat crickets, and that's it. I did try them with honey. Some people said like natural honey or both kinds of honey, and I found none of my geckos like honey, so that I can tell. So yeah, I haven't bothered. So let's see if we can weigh this little one. And again, I find it easy just to slowly pop your hand. Don't often do this holding the camera, but let's give it a go. Yeah, if he decides to just pop off there, now I do. Oh, there we go. So she's decided. And again, like I say, she is much more cautious, jumpy, so I don't push it too much with her. But let's see if she wants a waxworm. Okay, she's going to go down the gap. Oh, he's turned the scales on. You're going to weigh yourself. You're going to weigh yourself. So yeah, let's get him to jump off. Sometimes I just touch. There we go. And he'll go. There you go now. Hopefully he won't eat that bug, because she looks like she might be interested in it. Let's tear the scales. I'm not sure. Oops, sorry. There we go. So let's see now if I can grab this chap here. There we go. He just very easily jumps on. So let's pop him on the scales, and that's 7 grams. 7 grams he is. So she's not very interested in the bugs. Write that down. Now I would say that he's probably heavier than this pretty one here. Oh, wouldn't be a normal gecko interaction if they didn't poop when they're out. First time that the little ones have actually pooped while they're out, but there we go. So I do try to box it off, but obviously the boxes have gaps. I know there could be probably some better things that I could use, but for the time being there isn't, so I have to block it off as best I can. So I'm going to try and catch her. Now this is, like I say, this is a very jumpy gecko, so I tend to let them lick me first, and then I just slowly put my finger underneath their head, and then once they're like that, you can kind of, you know, get them on your hand. Once they're on your hand, I think it's very easy, oh, here she goes, to get them, there we go, to jump onto the actual enclosure. I don't tend to grab them unless I really have to. Oh, there she goes. She just jumped over. So now if I put her plant in there, which she does love. And another thing I found that you know, just, oh, I could have weighed her then. I don't think I will now, just because I don't like to freak them out too much. So this is my, right, let's pick this chap up then first, because then we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or catch 2 geckos. So yeah, as soon as they start climbing, you're sorted really, because, you know, half the job's done. So we've got her on the edge. How are we going to get her to go in without freaking her out, basically? So I just coax them onto my hand and then in to the enclosure. Sometimes by the time you've got the other one back in, the other one's ready to get back out again. So now he looks like he's going to jump, so we'll let him. Oh, there we go. And then they're in. Okay, so they've had their bugs. They had wet food yesterday. Give it a little spray, not too much, because it does get quite wet in there. It does keep the wetness quite well, and they do have water in there. Make sure her little hands aren't. And there we go. The very first geckos I've made. Thanks.